If you're a Mustang fan, you've been waiting 5 years to see this car, and I am super excited to show it to you. This is the Ford Shelby Mustang GT500, finally. Ford last offered the GT500 in 2014, and the last time that you could get both a GT500 and a GT350 at the same time was like 1970 or something, so this is a big deal. Ford won't tell us everything that we want to know about the GT500, but we've learned a bit. So far, 2 different trims, a base model, which is still awesome, and this, which is the carbon fiber track pack. It is, carbon fiber equipped. 20-inch carbon fiber wheels, a carbon fiber wing from the racing GT4 program, and a little bit more aero in the front. Ooh, I know. What you really want to hear about is what's under that hood. Okay, I can't show it to you, but we do know that everyone who was guessing that it was going to be a 5.2 liter V8, like the same block that's in the GT350, you were right. It's not going to be a flat plane crank though. It's a more traditional American V8 crossplane crank. What it does have is a giant supercharger. I mean, huge. The supercharger on this engine is as big as some of the engines in passenger cars. 2.65 liters. That is bigger than the Hellcat and bigger than the Camaro ZL1 and only a tiny bit smaller than the Dodge Demon, so this thing is gonna fly. They won't tell us the horsepower yet, but if you're guessing 700 plus, you're probably not wrong. Ford won't give us the exact numbers, but they did say 0 to 60 is gonna be in the mid-3s. That's fast. Everything from the A-pillar forward is distinct on the GT500, so it's not the same as any of the other Mustangs. It's a little bit wider, it's got that bulge hood with the extractor, it's got hood pins, and underneath the extractor is a rain tray, so if you're just driving around on the street and you don't want to get a whole bunch of mud and leaves all over your nice clean engine, you leave that on. Then when you get to the track, you take it off, all the hot air comes out through those vents and it helps with downforce. Speaking of moving air through this car, have you seen the front of it? It's pretty much all grille. There's no little tricky headlights that air goes in or anything like that. It's just open. It's got a huge amount of cooling because it has a huge engine, and they want to keep that engine cool so that you can have lots of power. One of the big mysteries that we've all been wondering about is what transmission options is the GT500 going to have? Is it going to have the 10-speed automatic like the Mustang GT? Is it going to be manual only like the GT350? And the answer is surprise, neither of those. One transmission only, a dual clutch transmission, DCT, sort of like the Ford GT, but this is designed specifically for this car. So it's a Tremec 7-speed, and Ford says it's going to have just like lightning fast shifts on the track, but still be comfortable enough to drive on the street. Pretty cool. The most obviously carbon-y part of the carbon fiber track pack package are the 20-inch carbon fiber wheels. 20 by 11 in the front, 20 by 11.5 in the rear. Even though they are bigger than the carbon wheels that are on the GT350R, they weigh the same, because magic. They're backed by the biggest brakes I have ever seen on a production coupe. Family-size pizza big. Aside from the rotary shifter in the console, which is kind of new, the interior is pretty standard and recognizably Mustang. The GT500 does have a flat-bottom steering wheel, and if you get the track pack, you get Recaro seats standard, but only in the front. Rear seat, delete. You cannot add it back in. This is a 2-seater. The GT500 is the boss horse in the Mustang herd, so it is supposed to be above the GT350 in almost every performance metric. And while it isn't designed for any particular kind of driving, it does have options for anything that you might want to do. So it has a drag mode and it has a track mode, and the suspension was specifically tuned to be adjustable for any of those kinds of driving. Because it is the top of the line, we're expecting it's going to have a top of the line price, but we don't know that yet. We'll find out when it goes on sale in November. As soon as we know, you'll know by checking in with us at Edmunds. I can't wait to drive it. No matter which Mustang you're interested in, from the EcoBoost to the GT500, let us help you with your shopping needs. And make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.